Procrastination rarely looks dangerous. It feels small, harmless even. Just a few minutes of delay, a short break, a quick distraction. You tell yourself you will start soon. After one more video, after one more scroll, after you feel more ready. Just not now, just not yet. But hours quietly disappear this way. Days repeat the same pattern. And before long, important goals begin to drift further away. Not because you chose to quit, but because you never truly started. Most people believe procrastination happens because they lack discipline, but the real reason is much simpler. Starting feels uncomfortable, and your brain is designed to avoid discomfort. The hardest part of almost any task is not the work itself, it is beginning. That first step carries the most resistance. Your brain sees effort as a threat to comfort, so it looks for easier alternatives. Checking messages, watching something entertaining, scrolling endlessly. Anything except starting the task. And the longer you delay starting, the bigger the task begins to feel in your mind. It becomes heavy, unclear, overwhelming. Soon your brain convinces you that the task requires massive effort, that you need more time, more energy, a better moment. But this is often an illusion. Momentum works in two directions. When you delay action, procrastination gains momentum. But when you begin, action gains momentum too. The problem is that most people wait for motivation to start. But motivation often appears after action, not before it. Motivation is unreliable. Some days it shows up. Most days it doesn't. And your life cannot depend on something that disappears. Once the brain sees progress happening, resistance begins to fade. Focus becomes easier. Energy increases. Clarity replaces confusion. This is where a very simple rule can change everything. A rule that removes pressure and makes starting easier. The rule is simple. When you feel resistance to starting something important, commit to doing it for just 5 minutes. Not an hour, not a perfect session, not your best performance. Just 5 minutes of focused effort. 5 minutes feels manageable to the brain. It removes the feeling of overwhelming effort. The task suddenly feels possible, reachable, doable. So you begin, even if you don't feel like it, even if the energy isn't there. And something interesting happens. Once you start moving, the mental resistance begins to shrink. The barrier that felt so strong was only at the beginning. The task that felt heavy now feels lighter. Your mind begins adjusting to the activity. You stop overthinking and start doing. Many times, those 5 minutes naturally turn into 10, then 20, then an entire productive session. Not because you forced it, but because you started. Not because you felt motivated, but because momentum took over. You can apply the 5-minute rule to almost anything. Studying, writing, exercise, work tasks you've been avoiding. Instead of asking yourself to finish the task, only ask yourself to start it. Lower the expectation. Remove the pressure. This small shift removes the burden of perfection and replaces it with progress. And progress builds confidence. Every time you use this rule, something deeper changes. You prove to yourself that you are someone who starts, someone who takes action, not someone who waits. And that is how discipline actually grows. Not through massive bursts of motivation, but through small, consistent beginnings. Because the hardest step is never the work itself. It is simply starting.